It's a poison. That doesn't help the stress level. No, don't do it. Get a grip. This stupid video I just showed you. I almost stroked out and died over it. You're watching a different show. It's donkey. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah. That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. Just a weird week. It's just a weird week. Everybody's trying to swim and wade through narratives and the realities and the things that are true and the things that are not true and the reasons versus excuses. We have talked about this before. Phil, it was your birthday. Happy birthday, Phil. God, I love you. I love your family, man. I always, with Phil, every time Phil comes up, I'm going to say this because it means that much to me personally. The very first tailgate we ever did for Blue and Gold, me and Pat are sitting there and we're like, I hope people show up or this is going to be kind of embarrassing, right? And Phil and his whole family, a carload of people, like literally at the 6 or 8 people come and get the party started. Phil and his family were the very first people at the very first tailgate we ever did. And I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. We were all ready and excited about this little tailgate and we were going to see if anybody wanted to show up or if this thing had legs or whatever. And Phil and his family were the first people there with a smile, putting chips and cookies on the table, bringing alcohol to drink, and like it got the party started. And I'm always going to have a special place in my heart for Phil and his family being the first people that came there, man. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. And so the Hyper Ninja's sticking around. Good to see you, buddy. It's like the Ohio State people that come in here and then they never leave. Like, that's fine, man. LSU. I'm telling you, Ninja, I had this phone conversation with a Notre Dame buddy last night. Like, I can feel however I feel about Brian Kelly. He doesn't like me personally, verified. I don't like him personally, verified. That's one of his best wins in his career, in my opinion. 2012 on the road at Oklahoma Halloween weekend was a big win for him in Notre Dame. Road game at Oklahoma, two good teams, whatever. That was a really, really good win. This has got to be right up there with one of the best wins. He needed it. He had to have it. 0-3 in first games at LSU. Went on the road in a tough place to play and won the game and deserves all the credit. It doesn't matter if I don't like Brian Kelly personally. It was a great, great win. Good job by LSU. So, whatever, man. I don't like saying it, but the truth's the truth. Huge win. Sets everything up for them that they want to do. So, good win by him. Dr. John, good to see you. Yeah, and of course, there's nothing like Cocky Kelly. There's nothing quite like Cocky Kelly when he's feeling himself and he's letting it fly at Dabo. Anyways, I got my own problems. I can't be worried about Dabo. Got my own issues. Let's get back on track. Okay. Reasons versus excuses. And I promise I'm going to shut up. We have a lot of calls. So I'm going to get out real quick, and I mean it, and then we're going to go to the calls. You guys got to get your thoughts up. I'm struggling to balance reasons versus excuses of why things didn't go as good as we needed them to go in Miami. And I'm struggling with that. Oh, it was so hot. Everybody was so dehydrated and everything because of the humidity. Is that a reason or an excuse? And am I supposed to feel better? The weather in Miami's the weather in Miami. What are you going to do? You want everybody out there on the O-line with one of them, an IV hooked up to them with a cart? They're wheeling around at the line of scrimmage or what? It's like, oh, it was humid and them guys were overheated. What do you want me to react to that? That's an honest to God question at 9:05 on a Friday morning when I hear the O-line was overheated and dehydrated and that's why everything looked bad. What do you expect my response to that to be? Okay. It's fine to lose because it was hot out. What? Like I'm struggling here. What do you want? What is the response to that when it's like, well, it was really hot and it looked like those guys were having a stroke out there, dude? How is a fan supposed to respond to that? That's okay. We'll just be dehydrated and lose. And now I know why, and I'm okay with it. Like, I don't know how I am supposed to react to hearing that. Was it not hot at Texas A&M last year, and you were the one grinding them down at the end of the game? Did you do something different? Or Tom Skilling over here in the weather thing's going to tell me, well, according to my calculations, the humidity in Miami is 700% more than the humidity in Texas because that's a dry heat. And this is the humidity. Oh, it's totally different. The chemicals from the Atlantic Ocean get kicked up in the clouds. And before you know it, all of our linemen are dead. What? I don't know how I'm supposed to react when I hear that. Is it a reason? Is it an excuse? Is it both? Did you have an obligation to hydrate differently or prepare differently? Like, it just seems like a week. It just seems like a crutch to lean on for the extraordinarily embarrassing play by the O-line. But it may be true, like medically, but it doesn't make me feel any better. The game was played where it's played, and you got to be ready to survive the moment. I'm sorry, man, but you can't blame dehydration in prime time. Come on. You can't. You just can't. You can't lean on that and expect that to make people feel, but oh, well, it was hot, so we had no chance. So anytime we go play somewhere hot, our guys are going to be on a stretcher and you just mark it as a loss. And the O-linemen look like they're blind out there with no dog telling them where to go. So excuses versus reasons. So I don't know what you want me to do with that. Goolsby was saying this humidity is a real problem and it takes a lot out of you. And I played in environments like this and you don't realize how bad it is. I totally respect that. But does that make it okay? Like, does that mean I'm just supposed to like roll over and be okay with what happened because it was hot? I'm really struggling, man. Excuses versus reasons. And the other thing is, how is that almost instant? That's the other thing. It isn't like, oh, you held up for a lot of it, and later in the game, your guys were dead with dehydration. What, right away in kickoff, it made you dehydrated? Come on! What I just can't handle it, dude. But at the same time, I'm a dork in my basement yelling into a microphone at 9:08 a.m. Who am I to talk about what a 300-pound guy, how their body reacts? I ain't no doctor. Unless I'm Dr. Death. So man, I'm struggling. Yeah, they handled A&M. That's another thing. John, you were wrong again. Stab myself in the eye. I'm wrong again because I idiotically said, heading into this game, I feel pretty good that you're going to be physically ready for the environment and emotionally ready for the environment because you prepared for A&M in week 1 last year and you wore them down at the end of the game, down in that Texas oil heat where the oil gets in the air and then it does whatever. I just made that part up, but you know what I'm saying. I'm an idiot. because I said you handled that well. You were prepared for the moment, and physically you were better conditioned against A&M a year ago at their place in hot conditions down in the oil lands. I just assumed you would be able to replicate that. And now, no, it's just you can't ask any questions. It was humid. That's the only reason the O-line played bad. I do not believe it. I think you got bigger problems than that. You got bigger problems than that. So, whatever, man. I'm struggling with reasons versus excuses. So, okay, real quick. Jeez, let me get through the introduction. YouTube, hit subscribe, give it a thumbs up, notifications on Twitter, search bar Always Irish or at Always Irishing. I don't think you're going to get changes on that O-line. They're not going to just like bench Knapp and he's not going to play against A&M. Like, I know I've seen people want that. I don't think you're going to get that. So it's just bad, man. And you feel like a hostage too, because Notre Dame doesn't play this week. So you just feel kind of like a hostage. And yet, because you don't even have a chance to knock the bad taste out of your mouth. So you got to just sit there a whole nother week and you got to watch this garbage lineup of games this week too. That's frustrating too. You have an off week and what is it? Michigan, Oklahoma is the only game that even registers to me of mild interest. It's just like, so you don't even have any good games. Take it up all day. You feel like a hostage for a whole nother week. We're going to sit there and go, I hope this team puts it together. The season's pretty much over. Everyone's so uncomfortable. Everyone has questions. Nobody has answers. It's a very uncomfortable week. Emails always irishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You could get it. If you don't want to see my dumb face, who could blame you for that? Notre Dame on SI, read all about it. Patreon.com/alwaysirish. Ooh, the film breakdowns are taken off. Oh, Goolsby and Jared Clark, 2 hours on the offense. Tim, I did the first half the other day, and then this morning we uploaded the whole second half, hour and a half of Tim breaking down every defensive play. Oh, baby. So it's getting good over there. All-star team, man. We got a good crew, and everybody does their role great. So thanks to everybody who's joined. This film stuff's really taking off. And Irish is the promo code, link in description. Get in there. Those film breakdowns are unbelievable. Always Irish Senior, good to see you. Anybody that's new here, you're wondering why I am the way I am? Ask Always Irish Senior. Why, you think I just came out of the womb like this? Always Irish Senior is to blame for the way that I turned out, damn it. Oh, man. One of the most kids, leave it to Kent. I thought of this yesterday and I wasn't even going to bring it up, but now that Kent's doing it, well, I thought of it. I had my daughter, we were at the park last night and I thought of this, but I'm like, I ain't even going to say this because I'm not ready to go there. One of the most concerning aspects Notre Dame losing to Miami and maybe A&M is losing recruits. The last thing Notre Dame can afford to lose is Dunham and O'Brien and those running backs looking elsewhere. Kent, I had that thought watching my little girl on the swing there, and I'm just sitting there at the park, and I had this thought of this, and I'm like, nope, I'm not even going to bring it there. We're already miserable enough, like right now. Like, I don't need to bring anything else. But yeah, if this thing unravels on you, you got real problems that are just going to roll together and create bigger ones. And ain't nobody here for that. Ain't nobody here for that. So Irish is the promo code there. Go watch the film, man, if you want answers. Okay. So here's the deal. Irish introspection. You got to self-evaluate everything. And then I'm going to do the super chats, give it right to the calls for the rest of the day. Okay. You have this 2-week window, which was well planned. Once you saw the first 2 games were going to be Miami and A&M, it made sense to have that week off in between. Either way, if you win, it gives you a chance to physically recover from the humidity and a tough physical game and let that all die down or whatever. And if you lose, it gives you an extra week to be able to get your crap together and be able to kind of wallow in your misery, self-evaluate, look at the film and feel bad about yourself, which you should, and get it all together. So this is a critical, one of the most important 2-week windows in Marcus Freeman's tenure at Notre Dame. All right. I'd love to be a fly on the wall for whatever is being said behind the scenes here. You got to own the film. You got to own the coaching. You got to own the bad play. You got to get pissed off, and you got to get better. You got to get better. Okay. Freeman needs to have a long talk first with his staff about what the hell they were doing and why, and how you're going to not do it again. He needs to lock the captains in a room and say, you guys are our leaders and you did not play well, and that's unacceptable. And you can't expect anyone to follow your lead if you're leading us to a loss by making no plays or making bad plays. So they need to be locked in a room, Freeman and the captains, and you say, bro, you guys are the leaders and you all played bad. And so nobody can lead that. Nobody could follow that leadership. You ain't I swear to God, you guys, the introduction when I'm yelling from years ago, you ain't a captain and nothing but a sinking ship. You think I'm playing? You can't be a captain and play bad in the biggest game of the year. Who's going to follow your lead? So you need to have a talk with those captains and then the entire team. Challenge everything. Freeman, challenge everything, challenge everything, challenge everything. Here's the challenge. Every single snap is up for grabs. There are no guaranteed playing time. There's no guaranteed starting or rotation or whatever. If you don't make plays, you don't get to play. And I don't care if that means you got a bunch of freshmen out there or you got a C on your chest and you're sitting on the bench. If you don't make plays, you don't get to play. It's the fairest equation in the world. You know, some of you people are getting what you wanted. When Notre Dame was winning too much, I started to get messages about, John, you lost your fire. And John, you're a lot more calm than when you first started this or whatever. And it's not as entertaining when you're like this. What? When Notre Dame's winning, I don't have a reason to have an aneurysm every day. Once you start losing, old Johnny's, he's back. And that's not good for any of us, including my cardiovascular health and my hairline. Son of a buck. So you got to challenge everything. Challenge everything. So Freeman need to have a long talk with the staff, long talk with the captains, and address the team. Every snap's up for grabs. Nobody, I mean, you just can't do this and then expect to get all your snaps. No, make plays or don't play. Real simple. It's as fair as it gets. But you got to let this loss hurt. You got to fully lean into what went wrong. You got to get yourself a big bag of popcorn and watch that film of you getting embarrassed on the national stage. You got to watch it. You got to let it get in your veins. You got to absorb that pain. You don't run from it. You lean right into your mistakes. So that's the deal. That's the deal. Along with the weather, one more thing, and then I'll go to the calls. One more thing. The weather is one excuse reason thing that I'm seeing. Here's the other one. I keep seeing and reading and hearing, oh, Miami has some NFL caliber, defensive linemen, especially on the edges there. They got some, my ears are in pain. Oh, Johnny's back for sure then. Oh, everybody who wanted it. Old John is back. Hope you're happy. Son of a buck. I keep hearing, oh, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Miami's got these NFL caliber edge guy. What do you want Notre Dame to do or whatever? Well, wait, so time out now. That's what I keep hearing. Now, time out now. That may be true that Miami has those good defensive guys, especially on the edge, that are going to go to the NFL. That's total. I don't dispute that at all. But the question I have is, they have that. But you were ranked higher than them, went to the title game last year. You're expected to be a really good team. Why don't you have offensive linemen that can match up with them? Like, what am I missing here? This is not a 7-win Notre Dame team hoping to get to 9 or 10 wins and like you know where you're at and you're kind of down working your way. No, I don't understand how that's okay, where it's like they have really good guys on the edge. What do you want us to do? You have really good guys on the offensive line that at least can work those matchups to a stalemate throughout the night. You don't got to win all the battles, but you can't lose them all either. You don't got to win all the battles, but you damn sure can't lose all the big ones either. So I don't understand why it's like, well, they got those NFL guys. What do you want us to do? If you are what you want to be in this program and think you are, you should have guys that can block them at least to a stalemate. They win some, you win some, but it's like a tough draw in the middle somewhere. So I don't understand that as an excuse ever because it lowers the bar of what Notre Dame is. The goal this year was to go from number 2 to number 1. Now we're saying they have a good defensive line. Nothing you can do. Just take it. No. Why? They have those NFL guys coming off the edge. You should have NFL guys ready to block them. I don't understand how that's an excuse. So it rubs me the wrong way. That talk acts like Notre Dame's a below-level program trying to punch up and all that, and it's lowering the bar. And I'm not here for that. It wasn't all that bad. It was to me, and it wasn't all that bad. I mean, God bless you if that's where you're at. I mean, I would like to get there, but so anyways, it's a really important week. Challenge everything. You really do need to. Like, that's Freeman's mantra, and it's so true. Like, you really do need to challenge everything. The coaches, the captains, and the players. You do need to challenge everything. Now, the good news is you could bounce back from this. This 2-week thing, you could totally put it all together. Now you're pissed off and you needed to get hit in the mouth to wake up. Everybody gets it together. You have 2 weeks. You don't have the humidity, so we don't need the IV going, You're going to be back at home. Like, I'm open to the idea that you show up against A&M and it's a different vibe and they're more engaged and ready to go right away and they play better and you win that game and you're in the same position you were last year, where if you win out, you get a home game. And if you go 10-2, you may make the playoff, but you're going to have a tough road game to start. That's about as good as you could hope for right now. The best case scenario is Notre Dame just comes out and they look very different. And here's the other thing I don't have an answer for. Super chats, then calls. Here's the other thing I don't have an answer for. Why did it feel to me that Miami wanted to win the game more? Why did it feel to me like they were more intense and engaged and cranked up and excited to get this game going? I'm not used to that from a Notre Dame Marcus Freeman team. They usually at least are up for all the biggest games. They may not have won them all, but they are up at least to play and match the intensity level in all these high-level games. Even if they lose them, you're ready to play. I didn't feel that this time. That's a huge red flag, and that has nothing to do with Miami's talent or Miami's new coach, new defensive coach. None of that. That's you. That you were not prepared emotionally and physically for this game. I'm not used to that from Freeman teams, and it's a problem. It felt very different than the start of the A&M game. So it makes me wonder, did you prepare differently? What is it, a leadership problem? Your captains didn't play good. I don't know who's leading the team other than CJ Carr. It is the biggest compliment and insult to this program that I felt like Carr was like one of the main leaders of the team in his first game in that environment. It's a compliment for Carr and what this is going to turn into with him. And it's an insult that he had to assume a leadership role in that environment. That should not be put on that kid. That should not be put on that kid, that he has to assume a leadership role in his first game in that circus and all that chaos. Hey, wait a second. Are all the names fixed? Remember how am I dreaming? Yes. Do you remember when all your names had a million letters and numbers and now they're back to regular? What the hell's going on here? I think my YouTube account is haunted. Like, what the hell's going on here? I love this stupid show. Yeah, okay. I didn't do anything, but we got our names back for like 3 weeks. It was Ryan Roll, 749er B87-4. What the hell's going on? Oh, man. Oh, that's hilarious. Does your chair have a seatbelt? I tell you what, man. God bless all you callers, man. All right, super chats, and then we'll go to the calls, and you guys can have the rest of the show to get it out. If you got that frustration in your heart, let it out. Hopefully everybody's feeling a bit better today. Nope, but it's a good sentiment. C. Jones, having an off week in week 2 turned out to be a good thing, as this team has a lot to correct. I do believe we'll see a different team against A&M. I hope you're right. I hope you're right, C. Jones. For me, Domer, it's how they lost. Carr is far from a finished product, potentially due for a dud game or two. When he plays well, Indy has to win. Andrew, I've said that as well. Hear me out. Hear me out. Tell me if you agree or disagree. If you got the standard, typical, good, tough, tight Notre Dame defensive effort, and the O-line was okay, not great, but like not bad where you're bitching about it, but just like in the middle of okay land, and you lost the game because your first time starting quarterback was overwhelmed by the moment, panicked a little, threw a couple pick sixes into traffic and got baited by a linebacker who jumped a route or a corner, jumped out, or whatever, you would be frustrated, but you would say you had a first-time starter in the most chaotic environment you could think of in a rivalry game against an NFL-type roster with Miami, dudes all over. You would be frustrated, but you would be like, he's going to get better and grow from this. And you know that he's going to mature and those won't be problems moving forward. And like, it would hurt, but you could live with that. What's bothering me is the foundational pieces of the program that have made us decent did not play well, and I can't accept it. That's the problem. I could live with the young quarterback made a couple mistakes and you lost the game, and you don't have that kind of margin against Miami, and you lost the game because the young kid panicked a little bit. But the defense is good and the O-line held up, and you just got it. That quarterback just needs more experience, and this is all going to be fine. No, this is a much bigger problem. The foundations, the parts that are supposed to be the rock, the heart, and the spinal column of this program, the foundation, the defense, and the O-line are not good enough, and it's not close. Not good enough. And I refuse to accept it. Never tell me O-line you again. I swear to God, my eyeballs want to pop out of my head when I get gaslit that we're O-line you, bro. Your offensive line is a running meme on the internet right now. The thing you brag about the most in your program is an online running joke, and all of the college football Twitter space is making fun of you. That's where you're at, O-line you. Congratulations. That's where you're at. You're a running joke on Twitter. Everybody's cutting up our lowlights and laughing at them in your face. And that is the best part of your program you're known for. The gaslighting is... It makes me want to pour the gas from the garage for my mower into my eye socket, light a bottle rocket, and put it in my eye hole and just see what happens. After that A&M game, we should know if we have sustained staying power. Not staying power. When did you arrive? Staying? You didn't even arrive. Once this year starts, last year doesn't really matter. So staying power, you got to arrive to stay. Staying, you got to show up to stay somewhere. Ooh, I'm sweating already. Mark, if the OC would take the load off Carr, not asking to be off CJ, not make him be the hero, Carr won't have duds. Yeah, hopefully. You got it. I wrote that article this morning. You got to help the kid out. Oh. Based on the play calling, the road environment, having a heat-stroked offensive line, how does Carr not get an A? He's basically a freshman. He did not take truly meaningful steps. I don't know what else anybody could have asked of Carr, really. With the lack of support he was getting, I don't know what else you could ask for him. I thought he did well. I'm not going to defend Knapp. My only point is, did we actually see Knapp? The guy basically had a heat stroke in the first quarter. Wagner did too by the end. What? Again, that is a reason, but it's also an excuse. Like, you can say that, and I don't want our guys in bad medical condition struggling, but it doesn't make me feel any better. Both teams had to play in that environment, and you couldn't hold up. It's a failure on Notre Dame's part. C. Jones. Hope Freeman sits down. Denbrock says, no more vanilla, no more conservative. We have talent. Show it. The problem with that, C. Jones, is you got to have good O-line play to be able to not be vanilla. That's the issue. It's all interconnected. If you don't want to be vanilla and you want Carr to be able to throw it downfield and do all this, you got to have a running game, and your offensive line's got to hold up in the run game and the to spit it out, idiot. And in the pass protection. And you didn't get that. So what are you going to do? Unbelievable. I would like to see our quarterback throw more throws north and south instead of sideways next time. How about we try that? Curious to see how much, if any, we improve against A&M and if any changes are made. Ain't that the truth? How could you? A lot of these areas couldn't play worse. I'd like to believe that. John, I told you this was going to happen. You don't stress eat, so you're going to lose the weight. If you stress hate, you would be a star on 600-pound life. Starting about a week before the Miami game, I started losing weight. I'm eating the same amount of calories in my intake, but I could feel myself losing weight. I'm just stressing out. And then after the game, who in the hell could have an appetite since that game? Are you out of your mind? Who could eat? Who could be in the mood for that? If your Price's data representative, you better be having conversations with the staff. 5 carries, opt-out red shirt is on the table. I'm telling you. And Love was not happy either. When you look at that offensive all-22, Jared Clark's highlighting it. All the plays, Love could have got the ball and didn't. And he was shaking his head, putting his arms up. Like, you gotta change. You gotta change stuff. And I think you're going to feed those two guys for A&M. I think they will, if anything, overcompensate to feeding those guys at A&M. I'm calling it now. Unity. Unity. And that ring was imprinted in that black head of his for about a week. Unity. My heart's too broke to let any hate out. Let it out. If you're too depressed to even be mad, let it out. Oh, my God. LSU Ninja. Always Irish in all respect. Texas A&M struggles to stop the run. I believe ND has the advantage to bounce back. I'll believe it when I see it. University of Texas, San Antonio ran it for like 200 yards. Are you going to be able to? Or is all the offensive line going to be laying in a hospital with an IV hooked up again? The Rotate, $20 holler for the phones. Thank you very much. WPP, $10 holler. The weather excuse is nonsense, pure nonsense. It was a night game and it was not that hot or humid. Should we accept excuses from teams like Florida State that have played Notre Dame in November and in 2018? Yeah, it was too cold. It works both ways. $2 hour. I feel worse after the film breakdown. I can always count on you, Adam. I can always count on you. Swandong says, angry John greater than depressed John. Usually those combine. Yeah, you need to do the soccer thing. Everybody get a Capri Sun. Everybody take some orange slices. and we'll get right back out there. Oh my God, that's funny. In the most depressed way ever. All right, here's what we're going to do. This is a good dividing line. We'll run the City Cheers app, and then we'll give the rest of the show. Hour and a half's going to go to the callers. Let's get it. Every dollar matters when you run a club, bar, restaurant, or country club. Lost tabs, slow payments, and walkouts cut into your profits fast. That's why venues trust the City Cheers app. With City Cheers, guests can receive promo details for your upcoming events and open and close their tabs right from their phones. Payments are instant, your walkouts will drop, and your team saves time with fewer card runs and less hassle for everybody involved. Managers get real-time reporting and transaction tracking so you know exactly what's happening on the floor, from sales to staff performance. Servers can handle more tables with less effort, boosting check averages and increasing their tips. And when your staff works smarter, not harder, morale goes up, service speeds up, and turnover goes down, creating a smoother, more profitable operation every single night. Protect your profits, empower your team, and simplify your business with City Cheers. This app is built for venues that want to win. So if you're ready to take your business to the next level, call friend of the show and loyal Notre Dame son, Tom Frawley, at 773-332-7742 today. Be sure to tell him Always Irish sent you. Oh, boy. Chicago's very own. Give him a call. Ash is a low-energy guy. I just had the moment. He was sweating. It was raining. He was pacing around the sideline with that bugged-out look in his eyes, all confused. And I'm not making any references to any previous defensive coaches at Notre Dame, but I had a moment where I had a moment. What is wrong with Lou Holtz? What do you think? Listen, man. Lou's looking very frail, very old. I just think we're winding down here. And I have a soft spot in my heart for it. I have a soft spot in my heart for him, but I mean, Lou we're winding down here, man. So you gotta he's gonna say whatever he's gonna say, but it's like, I don't know, man. It's just, it's tough. It's tough. Yeah, LSU. I can't tell if Pigskin's Pete's heart monitor is high or yours is right now. Yeah, I love Pigskin, man. He's a good dude too. I've gotten to know him over the last probably 10 years. We've both been doing this 8 years. Really good guy. Personal friend of mine. Good family guy. I love Pigskin Pete. Really, really good guy. All right. I'm going to give the rest of the show to the calls. Try and keep it short, man. A few minutes. I want to get through as many as I can. Get to your main points. We got a lot of people waiting. Let's do it. Tex ND, what's going on?
Johnny, what's going on? How are you?
I'm okay, man. We're in a really awkward place, a very weird week. You can't even get into another game in a couple days and get the bad taste out of your mouth. We're in a weird purgatory. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't feel any better. I thought maybe, man, I'd give it a day, sleep on it, give it another day, sleep on it, see how I feel. It's Friday. I don't feel any better at all. This is Tex ND, by the way. Just wanna I gotta start off with this. I am not a huge fan of WPP and the way that he goes at people in terms of IQ to make himself feel better. But in this instance, that man was 1,000% right, even down to, I think he called the score 27-24, Miami wins on a field goal. So shout out to WPP. He deserves that for sure.
Yep. He was, unfortunately for us, he was accurate.
Yeah, 1,000%. So here's my thing, and this is what I need to, man, I've been consuming a little bit here and there more as the time goes by, watching a little bit of the game.
Are you talking about drugs, alcohol, or content? When you say you're kidding, I'm wondering, or maybe a blend of everything to get through this. I'm wondering what you're consuming.
It's probably everything.
Yeah.
You got to lay off the drugs a little bit more as I get older. But man, I'm like, it's crazy to me that there's people who are being let's say, degraded based on criticism of teams. So basically, like, criticism of Notre Dame means now that we are not a true fan, right? Like, we're not allowed to criticize poor play. Like, we just have to accept any and all, regardless of outcome and performance. That in my first and foremost is killing me. Like, there's so much of the Notre Dame fan base is going after other people for being critical of the poor play, and I think that's terrible. Like, you can be a fan and you can still be critical of the team and the way they played. So many people are just like, I don't know. I think it's copium. You know, like, if you criticize the team, all of a sudden you're not a true fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and you always have that when a team loses, then you get all these divisions of the people that are overly critical, and then there's the other side where they're like, "Oh, it'll all be okay. What do you expect?" You know, like, and so there's always losing just causes division no matter what. And then, like, if you try and say it wasn't as bad as it felt, then you're making excuses. But if you go hard on them, then you're just being negative. When you lose, it messes everything up, and it should.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, like, it's like, you know, Miami has been anointed, right? So how do we know? Like, Miami has been anointed as the perennial national champs because they beat us, right? Because we lost to Miami, all of a sudden, like, they're a perennial champ. They're the next playoff team. You know what I mean? Like, or at least a far run in the playoffs. We don't know that. I mean, that's hopium. And the reason is the alternative is just not good. Miami may not be good. We're just assuming that they're good because they beat us. But maybe, and this is the thing that I'm scared of, maybe we're just not that good. You know what I mean? Like, you're looking at it, there's a lot of hat hanging right now on only losing by 3 points. Like, oh, you know, hey, we were down, we came back, we only lost by 3. And frankly speaking, that's crap. Like, I heard that and I kind of accepted it a little bit during the national championship game. Like, oh, we came back. Yeah, it was the closest national championship game. We only lost by a possession or by one score, and now it's the same thing. Oh, well, we came back, we tied it. We only lost by 3. We should have our head up. And again, I think it's crap. You know what I mean? Like,
I have a problem.
Minus one person, CJ Carr was the best person on the field.
I have a problem with it because the goal is like playoff and being first and not second after last year. Like, you have title like goals now, and you have on-field play last year that suggested that's fair for like that to be in your purview. So then now that you lose, you're just supposed to accept it and like move on, and it's okay that you didn't play good or whatever. Like, no, it's not okay to lose ever for any reason. No.
Yeah, no, we as a fan base like seem to revel in comebacks and keeping games close when we lose. Fact of the matter is, it's a loss. And in the beginning of those games, whether it was the beginning of the Ohio State game or whether it was the beginning of the Miami game, we did not look like we belonged, and that is a problem. So, like, was it a case of NIU? Did the team just think that there was so many people telling that they were elite and that they were so good that we just expected to win without having to put in, you know, maximum effort? I don't know, right? You know, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, like, hey, where was our elite tight end? Where was our elite backfield? Where was our elite running back room with a Heisman caliber best running back in the country? Where was our elite Joe Moore award or a level candidate O-line? You know, where were our elite, seemingly way overpaid defensive and offensive coordinators? Like, where was all that? You know what I mean?
Yep. I definitely know what you mean. So where do we go from here? Like, are you confident that they're going to use these 2 weeks, get pissed off, put together a better plan, be more dialed in? Or are you worried that the same problem's going to reemerge against A&M? You're just at home for them this time. Like, that's where we need to start putting our focus next.
I don't know. A&M supposedly has a better running back and just as big, if not bigger, offensive line. Like, I'm looking at it and saying, like, I'm concerned about the leadership. Like, the captains of the team really played the worst out of many. And before I go, I'll give you a few just numbers. But I'm worried because my history with Notre Dame has been we either have a good team and a crappy quarterback or a serviceable quarterback, or we have a good quarterback and a crappy or a serviceable team.
Yeah, and then
it's looking like we kind of have a good quarterback right now.
You finally get a guy that can make all the throws you want, but the other parts of the team can't support him, so it's a wash. Yeah, and then welcome to Notre Dame land.
I mean, that is our history, right?
Oh, it's so frustrating.
So just a few points, and I'll jump out of here, right? So second to last in FBS for pass blocking, only to Miami of Ohio with a grade of 25.6, 12 missed tackles. PFF pass blocking for our offensive line, Knapp 10.5, Shroud 66.5, Craig 83.2, Lambert 19.2, and Wagner 56.1. Those guys were horrendously terrible, and I like that just kills me. Our worst players were mostly captains, like I said. Our first time college QB had more running yards than our Heisman elite number one in the country running back. Like, does that make sense at all? Like, I don't understand. Our supposed elite tight end had literally 4 layups that were all drops. And I don't know if you saw it or if anybody thinks the way I do, but when Eli Raiden did get the ball and he had all that real estate in front of him, that dude runs like he's got one leg shorter than the other. Like, I don't know if he was going to make it or not.
Yep.
Like, that was crazy. And then, like, man, people from last year, like Adon Schuler, like, he was so aggressive last year. And this year he's just watching that dude make a one-handed catch. If he just gives that guy a shoulder as he's trying to catch that ball, that catch is not made. And it doesn't even happen. So, you know, like, where was Schuler? Where was Moore? Like, I just didn't see any of what we saw last year. And I have to think, like, is it that we just thought we should win, and so we just weren't, like, we believed our own hype, so we just didn't kind of go out there and play. And now we've chosen hard, and we have to kind of do the same thing that we did last year, which is extremely difficult to do this all over again. Like, run the table and do what we did last year. So I don't know. I said we better hope Miami turns out to be a damn good team. Everything is certainly still in front of us, but I am skeptical at the way that the Lions played. I am not an Ash fan as it sits right now. And, like, the only other team I think with as much hype that got showed up in regards to as we did was Bill Belichick and UNC. Man, what a shit show that turned out to be.
Yeah, it's so I don't know, man. We're gonna have to see. I mean, at A&M, you better hope that everything just looks and feels very, very differently, and you got to wait a whole nother week. So I don't know what we're gonna get. But Tex ND, thanks a lot for always being around and for starting us off.
John, for sure, man. Listen, I'm just hurt, and I got to get that out because you always make me feel better. I'm just hurt because I expected so much more from this team and had the bet. But also, too, congrats on the dream team you're building. You're doing a great job, man. I see lots more growth in your future.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hopefully, the growth is in my hairline. Have a good weekend, Texas.
Thanks, Johnny.
See you, buddy. How much time you got, buddy? Oh, man. Dude, I'm so glad that all your names are back regular. I have no idea what happened. That was like for 3 weeks. It all got weird, and now you're all back. It's just the internet, dude. You never know what you're going to get when you never know what you're going to get. What's up, crying? Thanks for the donation.
Jan? Hey, how's it going, man?
I mean, honestly, not great. Not great. That's how it's going.
I feel the same way. It's, dude. And I said it the last time I called in, but these 2 weeks to wait for another game, oh my goodness, it's tough.
Yep.
And the games this weekend aren't even that great. Anyways,
no, dude, that pisses me off too. We have to wait a whole nother week to see if we're gonna be bad or not, and you don't even get to relax on the off week and enjoy the games. You have stupid Oklahoma and Michigan is the only game, and there's nothing else that I'm even interested in. It's lame. Yeah,
it's really lame. Anyways, so we talk about challenge everything. That's Marcus's mantra since day one. He's always said challenge everything. So I've come prepared with a list of things that I think need to be challenged, during the bye week.
All right, I love it.
I hope have been challenged.
If you got a list of challenges, let it out.
So, can you guess my first one? This is the most important one to me.
What is
Can
it?
you guess it?
It's either going to be O-line play or the defense, one or the other.
The left tackle.
Yeah.
The left tackle, dude.
Yeah.
What is going on? Nobody will bring up the fact that he has not been challenged at all. At all. I mean, in the spring and the fall, he just sort of he was the assumed starter, and I don't think he played well enough to be the assumed starter. He did well as a freshman, but he's not Joe Alt or Blake Fisher. He's not Joe Alt or Blake Fisher. He's not that good. And I guess what is most frustrating to me is we've treated him with kid gloves during all of spring and fall camp, and then he just gets to tap out and have popsicles on the sideline. I mean, seriously,
it's tough.
That is amateur hour.
And you know what else too?
Sitting behind him.
The other thing is, even if like things were okay with him, there's still a narrative with a lot of fan base and analysts that he just doesn't have the body to be a natural left tackle anyways. Even if he was playing decent, it isn't the frame you would typically have and the athleticism you want that tackle to have. And my question is, if you're O-line how do you find yourself in a position where you have undersized tackles and you have all these issues? And the other thing I want to bring up is the depth with, Rocco and the guy that Coogan went to, Indiana, and then Pendleton went to Tennessee. I think that's the three we lost. I've seen people say, how are you going to run those guys out of town? And now don't you regret it? They did not run those guys out of town. But they let them know you're not going to have a guaranteed starting spot. You're going to have to, but they did not run them out of town. They invited them back, but were open that you don't get a guaranteed starting role. And they chose to take money in a guaranteed starting role somewhere else. I don't blame them for that.
Right. Well, and I also think they don't have faith that the competition is going to be legit. And, I thought that was kind of a dumb argument. Some stuff came out about that, but it does feel icky the more that I look at Knapp and the way he's been treated and the way we're moving all our 5-star tackles, which is terrible for recruiting, by the way, to guard as soon as they get here. I think that is it's something that Freeman needs to challenge. He's got to talk to Rudolph. I know we all want to defer to what Rudolph thinks, but dude, so many people that know football are saying this about Knapp. He's not a tackle.
Okay, now let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question. Do you think Notre Dame knew and the staff knew in the back of their heads that they were going to have O-line issues against Miami? Or do you think that they thought hoped it was kind of going to be okay? I'm wondering if you gave them truth serum. If they went in there on the plane, on the plane going, they're going, I don't like how this is probably going to go. I would love to know where they thought it was going to be, compared to what we got.
Yeah, well, that actually brings me to another point on my list here about challenge everything. It has to do with the D-line as well. I think the coaches might have had an inflated sense of how good they were coming out of camp.
Yeah.
And it's evidenced by the fact that Marcus was talking up the D-line and we got to get home with 4. And then they were just non-factors during the game itself.
Yep.
Maybe they thought the O-line was really good. And if the D-line was bringing pressure with 4 against our O-line.
So you got a
wow, we got a killer D-line. You know what I mean?
Like you know how they say iron sharpens iron? Well, it's like putty sharpens putty. You know what I mean? I don't know. What's the opposite of that? You know what I mean? Play-Doh blends into other Play-Doh. It's the reverse of that, and it was the ultimate mind bender, bro, in the worst way.
Yeah. Well, Rudolph and Al Washington both need to be challenged by Freeman. I think Al Washington is someone was heavily criticized before. Then he landed some good recruits in this cycle of D linemen.
How about this? Let me jump in. How about this? Here's a very quick fix to help some of this. Is Rubio and Dawson need to get more snaps in the middle? Can we just agree with that and start from there?
Right.
Can we, is that a fair, now that you have some data, can we just agree that one conclusion we came to, when you're playing a team like Miami or A&M, maybe in some other games, all of that rotation will be fine. Can we agree that you just need more of those two guys in this game?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, and captaincy be damned, right? Like you said, he could be a captain on the sideline with Donnie Heinisch. I mean, God love him. He's a great kid, I'm sure. And I love how much effort he puts in. I'll never forget him running to the side, running the quarterback down on the sideline in the A&M game. I'm like, wow, look at that. But he just does not look the part at all, especially for a team with the aspirations that Notre Dame has. It's another thing where it's like, look, captain's great, all this thing, dependable, leader, but there's talent sitting behind these guys. There's no reason we should be handicapping ourselves. Anyways, the next thing I want to talk about would challenge everything. Love as a pass catcher, we just got to scratch it, dude. We're overthinking getting the ball in his hands, putting him in a wheel route here, 2 back sets, blah, blah, blah. It's just, we're doing too much. And we gotta just put it in his hands and let him run through. And then the other thing I want to challenge, my worst fear, it goes back to Marcus Freeman being conservative on offense. RPOs, there's been a lot of interesting conversation about RPOs. And it did lead to a turnover because of how predictable the RPO was designed in terms of we just kept throwing the wide receiver screen out when we got a little bit of cushion on the side, and they read it and they intercepted the ball. But my thing is Marcus as a defensive coach, I hope he's not so turned off by RPOs because they led to a turnover. I hope he recognizes that the reason the RPO didn't work is because of how lazy the design was. We just kept throwing the same thing. You can do a lot of stuff with RPOs to lighten the box, and it's a perfect way to get the ball into the hands of playmakers. You could do glance routes. You could do bubble screens, not just wide receiver screens. You could do swing routes. You can do like stop routes. You could do all sorts of things. You can do fades with RPOs, but we didn't see any of that. We didn't see anything over the middle. I hope that he doesn't go, oh, turnover, no more RPOs, we're done with that, and throws it all out. I hope he challenges himself to say, look, I don't like turnovers, but the turnover happened because of how predictable the design was, and we have to make it more dynamic, diverse, whatever.
And listen, the big thing now is you have data. And so now you're not guessing of where this is starting at the way you are going from camp into game one. Now you have data and you have all this film. I expect some big changes. Like now you have some answers and you have 2 weeks to be able to figure things out. You better look and feel very, very different. Anything else, man? Thanks for the call.
Yeah. I guess the other thing is Jaden Greathouse. This goes back into captains and stuff. I've seen a lot of people crap on Jaden Greathouse, and I did watch that film review on Patreon. That was great.
Tough.
By the way, everybody, check it out. It's great.
Promo code Irish. Promo code my shirt.
I agree. Poor effort, and there's no excuse for pouting and being bad on blocks and stuff. But I do want people to just let rattle around in their head a little bit. The fact that he was our most explosive player on offense in Penn State and Ohio State games, and they didn't even bring him on the media tour. And now Will Pauling is the receiver that's the captain. Kind of weird. I'd be a little bit salty about it too, from being the featured receiver who was the best player on offense for 2 of the biggest games of the year, and then just kind of being a blocking guy. I don't know. Yeah. A little weird.
Man, it's there is a lot. This is going to be a really interesting experiment with the 2 weeks and to see what visible changes they come out with, either scheme-wise, offensively, defensively, if it looks different or better or worse or the same. Like, it's going to be a long, 8 or 10 days we got left, man. Hey, thanks for the call, as always, and for being on Patreon and everywhere else, buddy. Thank you.
Yep. See you, dude.
Have a good one. If you got hurt in your heart, let it out. See, this is dangerous. T. Rodimus Prime 31. Would you rather lose by 33 again? See, here we go, lowering the standard. I have a problem with this. The goal this year is like top-notch playoff team, get back in the playoff, deep run. Like, that's the level you think you're at. That's the level the media's been putting you at. Everything else, you kind of proved you belong in that discussion by the end of last year, what you did. And then now it's like people are mad we lost by 3. And it's like, would you rather lose by 33 again? Well, no, but that shouldn't even be something we even talk about because we're beyond that. You can't be like, oh, title CFP expectations. And then once you lose, be like, oh, yeah, I know, but it's okay. You don't get to have both. Losing's never okay. There is no substitute for winning. I'm going to repeat that for the people in the back. There's no substitute for winning. None. Oh, Henry, I'm a diehard Buckeyes fan, but I enjoy this channel and John's take on football. Nothing wrong with that. It's like he's convincing himself it's okay to be here. Heinisch is going to look good against the rest of the teams on the, I think you mean schedule. Okay, I have a problem being like, we have these playoff expectations for this team, and one of the starters is only going to play good against all the teams that don't have good talent. And I'm supposed to be like, okay, cool. That one of our starting D linemen can't play and match up against the better teams we play, but all the other ones with no talent, wow, he'll be able to get penetration against Purdue. Again, you got to have a higher standard than that. Being like, well, once we play the teams with less talent, our guys will be okay. You got to be beyond that. We invented the pass, damn it. We're going to use it. The problem is, bro, you can... Here's the problem with that. We invented the pass along Lake Michigan in 1912 or 1922, whatever it was, 1930, whatever. We invented the pass and we're going to use it. Here's the problem with that. I know it's not Halloween yet, but if you just like drop back with the offensive line the way we have it with their IVs hanging out their jerseys, I know it's not Halloween. CJ Carr's going to be looking like the headless horseman back there. Not the 4 horsemen, the headless horseman. That's the problem. Carr is most comfortable dropping back and throwing downfield or whatever. The guy is going to get beheaded because the line can't protect. O-line you. O-line you. Relax, John. O-line you. That's what we're known for. Hard-nosed, tough offensive line. Ooh. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. 815, make it come alive, baby.
Hey, John, can you hear me good?
I can.
3 quick shout outs. 1, Phil, happy birthday. 2, Tim, Patreon film review was unbelievable. As I was watching it, it kind of made me think what the hell his old employer was doing with his talents, but I'll leave that at that. And 3, Greg McElroy, because Steve Angeli did not look like Joe Burrow, and we do not have the best offensive line in the country. So his 2 takes are aging like milk.
Yeah, I do remember that back in the summer or whatever. So, dude, where do you go from here, man? Like this is a very, I feel like we're like stuck in no man's land and you're not going to get an answer for another 10 days of like, do you right the ship and all this kind of cools down? Or are you in for one of those years where you literally like Marcus is like question everything? Like, I mean, question everything. Like you just don't know where I'm floating around in no man's land.
Well, I want to talk about the defense, but while I was waiting on the line, I had kind of a thought, and I don't know the answer, so I'm not saying I'm right. I don't know the answer. I'd like to hear what everyone else thinks. I have a thought that maybe, first of all, to preface this, our pass pro has been awful the previous 2 years. It hasn't. With Hartman, we had the good tackles. Fisher was iffy sometimes, but our interior pass pro was awful. And then last year, it just wasn't good in totality. We just had a quarterback that could run around and avoid sacks. Yesterday or Sunday, it wasn't good. So my theory is Denbrock is calling all these RPOs because when you call an RPO, you're blocking the D line like it's a run play, whether you run it or pass it. So I wonder if that's his thought process is I can't pass protect. I have to call an RPO to just do anything on the offensive line because I can't have CJ just drop back and throw the ball. That doesn't work. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. That's just a theory I had. I'd be curious to see what everyone else thinks on that.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the RPOs he called I don't agree with them. I mean, some of them were fine. I prefer having a slant, go behind the linebacker. So you have to stress whether the linebacker has to crash or, drop back. That's my preferred type. If you put a guy like Fields or Faison back there to run that slant, you're either giving yourself a huge window to throw to or a quick jittery 1-2 slant go type of guy where it's a little harder to judge, should I drop back or should I go? So that's just my thought on the offensive line pass protection. That's maybe the reason all the RPOs were called. I'd just like to read the chat and see what people think about that.
Yeah. And so again, now that you have some data, what does Denbrock do? You got 2 weeks now and you're looking at like kind of what worked and didn't work and the game plan got away from you and Love and Price weren't as involved. Too many passes sideways, but if you were going to wait and pass forward, you need protection. You couldn't provide. You didn't want to get your new quarterback beheaded in front of the whole nation, which almost happened anyways on some of those carries. That guy was getting crushed. I don't know if that's sustainable. When he did take off, he was getting rocked. What do you do if you're Denbrock other than you got to hand it to Love and Price more as just a baseline, whether you can block it upright or not. You got to make it. You got to just decide you're giving the ball to those guys more. You start there, but then what else do you do if you're Denbrock?
My thought process watching it was he wasn't. Again, this kind of goes back to the O-line pass protect well enough, but he wasn't challenging the DBs like down the field. Like there was no threat of, they were squatting on everything all game. There was no threat of like they're gonna run like a deep route or anything.
Yeah, well, I got news for you. I was squatting before the game and after the game, even worse.
Like there was the one play where Fields caught that deep like the deep dig route. It was like, I don't know, like 15 something yards, and he got some extra yards after he caught it. That was the only play where like he did like his initial like takeoff and the DB like actually turned his hips because he's like, oh shit, I might get beat deep. Jared highlighted that, and that was kind of my thought where it's like we only saw that like once or twice the entire game. There was no threat of them like having to turn around and like guard downfield. Now I don't know if that could be part play calling, that could be part we don't have burners on the outside. I think it's kind of both. But that was my initial on offense. Like you have to challenge them down the field a little bit. Everything was short where they were just squatting and playing downhill all game, which kind of goes back to my RPO point is putting some stress on a linebacker if you're running a slant route where they can't just dart downhill. They have to at least hesitate because maybe he's going to throw it behind me.
Yeah. Yeah. And then defensively, I think is some of this, you got to mix up your rotation. So that I think that was obvious. The substituting and whatever, you got to mix up your rotations. And I see evidence for that on all three layers of the defense. You need to adjust some of your rotation here of what you're going to and when and who and where and what situations. And then do you expect to see a similar game plan from Ash? Or do you expect to see more physicality in the middle part, not those open 8-yard outs with no challenge? Like, I don't know what we're going to get, but I'm going to lose my damn mind if it looks the same again against A&M and you're just sitting there helpless.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know what we're going to get. But to the point of the rotations, I sent Tim an email basically kind of like talking about the personnel decisions because that's kind of like the point I love about football is like, what type of body types are playing where and what are they asked to do. I don't know if it was Ash, not understanding what he's got or the position coaches, but what are they evaluating in camp? Because to me, Dawson and Rubio clearly were better than Anye and Heinisch.
Yes.
Bowen and Snead were clearly not as good as Osbury and KVA.
Correct.
Which KVA is a whole different point. That kid, he shouldn't be off the field unless he gets tired.
Correct.
He's just significantly better.
Yep.
And then this is kind of my philosophy thing I like, but our safeties aren't like pass coverage guys. They're like the, go down in the box and like make a tackle in the alley type of player. Like Talich and Schuler and Stroman aren't like, they're not that type of player where you would want sitting in a cover one, like deep in the field.
So you're saying you don't feel very safe with the safeties. What the irony? The irony's killing me inside.
No, I was never high on the safeties. I don't like their style of play. And we saw it. We saw it with Schuler. He doesn't have great ball skills. We saw it on the touchdown play he gave up. And then Talich, he was just in the wrong spot. Now, I saw something allegedly he was told to help Zachary a little more. I don't know if that's true or not. Either way, if that's true, Zachary had a good rep on that touchdown play, and then he was way out of position and gave up a touchdown. So going back to like the body types and like their roles, that's why I'm so high on like Johnson and Jadon Blair, because they're like, they know how to play center field and they can like have ball skills to intercept a pass. You know what I'm trying to say? The other guys, I don't think have that.
Yeah, and the other thing is, the longer time goes by, the more Notre Dame fan base and media base is going to miss Xavier Watts. He got one of the other shows, I forget who it is, or I'd give credit to him. They talked about him being so advanced, he was no longer worried about doing his role. He was worried about how can he help out someone else who makes a mistake in a play to get over there and cover their mistake. Like, that's the level that he was at. That's how advanced he was. It wasn't even about him doing his job. He was worried about if anybody else makes a mistake back here, how do I get over there and cover for it? Like, man, you missed that, dude.
Because he had elite ball skills. When the ball was thrown to him, he caught it. That's what made him an elite safety. Even when you look back, like Hamilton, he was able to bait quarterbacks and he got interceptions because he was able to catch the ball. Kind of not to the same extent, but like even like a Logie Gilman, he got a bunch of interceptions in the back end because he had ball skills. He could catch the ball. I just don't see that with either three of those safeties. And when you're playing a cover one with the guy underneath, that's why Golden's scheme was so good, because Watts was able to catch the ball and actually like make a turnover and have like a game-changing play. And we didn't see that because I just don't think these safeties are that good in coverage. I think they're down in the box safeties.
So, okay, so fast forwarding this then, what do you expect to see against A&M? How can you make some adjustments to be able to get more productivity out of these guys? What do you do?
I honestly, all three of the rotation levels of the rotations, I would swap.
Yeah.
I would start Dawson and Rubio because they're at least, Dawson's I think like right under 300 pounds, but Rubio's like 320. I know as much as people hate Kent, he's right though. Like, we don't have big D tackle.
Yeah.
That's if you're not 300 pounds, I don't know. You shouldn't be playing D tackle if you're not.
If you got hate for Kent in your heart, let it out.
That goes back to Washington. He has 300-pound guys on the bench. Like, what is he like? How can he not get any of these guys on the field at all? Like, I think I saw Mookum on the goal line, but like, we're clearly undersized, and I don't know. That's the question I would have is
maybe. He's a bigger body. Maybe you could spook him with Mookum. There's a T-shirt.
Yeah, and also with the D line, the end rotations made no sense. It would be like Burnham and Junior were like pass rushing when they're clearly like run edge guys. Tim highlighted that on the film. It made no sense. Like, Traore and Young are clearly the pass rushers, but then sometimes they were in on rundown. That part made no sense. Washington, I don't know. He needs to figure it out. He's on my list. I'm watching him.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Now you got some time, and you better come out and look very different.
Yeah, and then just to finish, again, I would swap. KVA should play every single down unless he's tired. He's that effing good. You watch him, it's just like, I can't even explain it. Like, it's hard to explain what you're watching. It's just everything technical, his instincts. He's just so much better than the other three.
Yeah,
it's absurd. So he shouldn't leave the field. Osbury looks good. I would move Snead as a pass rusher. He's not a read and react type of player. Just put him on the edge and let him go. He at least like stresses the tackles a little bit. There were some pass rushes by like Junior, Bowen, and Burnham where they took their 3 steps, met, and there was the contact, and like there was no threat of like the tackle being like, oh shit, I might get beat. He just got stonewalled. At least Snead kind of like gives them a little pressure that he might like beat them. They're like, you know what I'm trying to say? He's not getting stonewalled.
Oh man.
So, and then safeties, we're not going to see him to game 2, but I would try to start working Jadon Blair at that deep third safety. Like, you need a guy who can turn his hips, bait a quarterback and catch the ball. That would be kind of what I'm looking for going forward.
It better look.
Tay Johnson before him, obviously.
It better look and
those
feel.
Would be my 2 looking forward.
It's got to look and feel a lot different, or this is going to be a long year. Hey man, really appreciate you always being around. Thanks for dropping in. Have a good weekend. No football stress.
You too.
Have a good one. Go Irish. How much time you got? $5 holler from the wine and cheeser. To be fair to Don, he picked off A&M last year standing there like that. He wasn't playing it on a wide receiver jumping 70 feet and catching it one hand. Hey, he wanted it more and he made it. ND wine and cheese. John, are you going to the luncheon next week? No, not going to be in town for A&M. Not going to be in town for A&M. Bruce, the mouth of the South. What's up?
John, what's going on, my man? How you doing?
You know how I'm doing, Bruce.
I know how you're doing. All right. Couple of things. I'll try and make it quick. So first thing, I heard you complaining earlier about O-line U. John, the reason they call it O-line U, I know this doesn't mean much to you because you're not an NFL guy, but it's because of the guys they produce and what they do on the next level. Just like Ohio State, LSU, or wide receiver U. It's not for college. It's what they go on to do. We create those guys. 4 years from now, Zach Martin's walking into the Hall of Fame, 7-time first-team All-Pro. Joe Alt is now starting at left tackle for the Chargers for Harbaugh. If Harbaugh doesn't believe that you can play O-line at a high level, he's not putting you there, right?
I understand.
We've got, Quentin Nelson is going to be a Hall of Fame. That's why they call it that. So that was my first thing. You are fair in what you're saying, but I know you can understand why it drives someone like me nuts to hear that. Yeah.
When it's like, sorry, bro, I don't cover the NFL. I cover Notre Dame. And if you're O-line U, I need you to be good as a unit while you're here. If that's your thing that you're known for. You know I'm going to lose my mind over this, Bruce.
I got you, John. I got you.
But you're not wrong. But you're not wrong about what you're saying. It makes total sense. But also I feel my blood pressure boiling through my head.
I got you, man. I got you. Next thing. So in watching this game, shout out Steve Splendor if you're listening, man, king of the chat. But Steve and I were texting back and forth watching this game. And for both of us, I think I can speak for him on this. While the players didn't play as well as they should have, our bigger issues were the play calling. Mike Denbrock, I think, did a terrible job. And now I'm speaking specifically for me. I think that he kind of got caught up in the shiny new toy of having a real passer now, as opposed to Riley Leonard, who could throw at times, right? But I think that he made too much of a concerted effort early in the game to get CJ Carr comfortable passing.
Yeah. And
oddly enough, a lot of those pass plays look like the Brian Kelly stuff that drives me insane. All those quick passes to the flat. And I'm like, can we draw up some stuff going downfield? Can we get some crossing routes underneath the same way that freaking Miami was able to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that he spent too much time trying to get CJ Carr comfortable and acclimated to the passing game.
Yeah.
When there are certain football truisms, run the ball, stop the run, you'll win a whole lot of games. So you got the best running back room in the country, arguably. Hand it off many times, early and often, and get the run game cranked up. Then you have your shiny new toy who can push the ball downfield, who will be able to play off of the run game, a la Dak Prescott as a rookie with his 1,600 rushing yards, Zeke Elliott. Make it simple. You don't have to be complicated. But all these OCs, they want to show their offensive genius and all that. Make it simple. Run the ball and play off of that. Those are my two huge issues here. Your thoughts on that?
I get it, but it's like you're in a tough spot no matter what, because it's like, well, you need a good O-line to be able to run the ball effectively. And you also need a good O-line to be able to do anything downfield without getting your quarterback beheaded. So it felt like they kept getting boxed in because they had limitations on what they could do or not. And before you know it, you're throwing the ball sideways.
But John, that's not true because I counted the first 4 plays out of the gate on offense for Notre Dame were pass plays.
Yeah.
When was the last time we saw that? Furthermore, with a redshirt freshman making his first start on the road. This is not Notre Dame, right?
It was a clear attempt.
Even more so.
A clear attempt to get Carr into the game.
Correct.
But you got to quickly move on from that into some other stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But even along with that, when Jeremiah Love was getting stuffed early, and that's fine, you knew that the Miami defensive line was going to focus on that. When he was getting stuffed early, they brought in Jadarian Price. Jadarian Price started moving the rock, and then you go away from him. Continue. Why did you go away from what was being affected? Yes, he had the fumble. Okay, you can't turn the ball over. The statistic shows you turn the ball over 2 or more times in a game, your likelihood of winning is at about 15%, right? I get it. But you have that opportunity. You're running the ball effectively. Stay with that, please. Stay with that. Now you make these guys come up and put a number in the box to stop the run. Now you can open up your pass game a little bit. I really don't understand this. I just don't. It seems so simple.
Yeah. And okay. So now you have your data, and now you have 2 weeks to build a different plan. And I'm very intrigued to see what looks the same and what looks different, because you clearly got to change some things up. But if you think you still have O-line problems, then I don't know how effective whatever else you're going to do is.
Well, I think the O-line problems weren't necessarily in running the ball. We had there were some pass pro issues, which I want to assume that they will get cleaned up. You know, there are some pass pro issues. And might I also say, I was complaining about the design runs for CJ Carr. I'm sitting there screaming at my TV. He's not Riley Leonard, but I was also moderately surprised and impressed at his level of mobility and some of the stuff he was able to do on the ground.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff he was able to do, obviously, like that laser touchdown throw that he had while he was like running all over the place. I was like, whoa. You know, so a lot of credit for that. But listen, Notre Dame's got things to clean up. But the issues for me are less what the players did on the field and more so what the coaches put them in position to do.
Yeah.
I think that's problematic. I heard someone say earlier, Don Schuler didn't look like he was playing aggressive. It's a lot easier to play aggressive when Xavier Watts is back there to clean up any mistake. Yeah. I think Don Schuler is really, really good. But remember, before the season started, John, I voiced some concern to you about how do you make up for losing an Xavier Watts in that secondary on that defense. So I think Notre Dame's going to be fine. I think they bounce back, but we've got to really, more so than anything, just pay attention to the coaching, because that's the bigger issue. And as the head honcho, Marcus Freeman, I know he trusts his guys and he wants to empower them, but he's got to say, Denbrock, come with me. I want to see what your game plan is, how you're going to handle this. And he also has to be willing to override the game plan if it's not working. Yeah. Being a defensive head coach and say, let's freaking simplify this thing when we have the ball, right? And I think that's what I got to say.
Yep. Man, good points, Bruce. Hope you and the family are doing well. Enjoy a stress-free weekend without Notre Dame, and we'll see what's up for A&M. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Have a good one, Bruce. Oh, I love that voice. Sly Fox trying to put me in an early grave. All summer, I said, when you get to Miami, you don't need the O-line to be self-actualized and everybody at peak performance. You don't need that. But you just got to fight enough to be able to give the team a chance to win. And I always brought up, the O-line needs to gel. And then I yell and say, okay, the O-line needs time to gel. Well, if you have 3 losses in the first 7 weeks and they're totally gelled up by the second half of the season and you're out of playoff contention, what good does it do? Right? So you don't have time to fully gel. You just had to be good enough to not have what just happened to happen. And you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. Buckeye. How good is the A&M D line? Well, didn't they just give up like 200 yards rushing to San Antonio, whatever that means? They gave up like at least almost 200 yards, just under 200 yards rushing to Texas, San Antonio. And I think the problem they have is they lost all of those elite guys to the NFL or the portal or something. So I think they lost all of that vaunted D-line that Notre Dame was to go up against last year when we went there to start the year. So if Texas, San Antonio could run the ball on them, you would like to think Notre Dame could. But what I saw from Notre Dame's O-line, absolutely not. There's no guarantee at all. So I don't believe nothing until I see it. 0-2 for the Purdue tailgate doesn't sound fun. You guys, I think I'm creating a bad trend. I had one of my tailgates after the Marshall game. Everybody was in a great mood for that one after the Marshall game. I had my other tailgate after the Northern Illinois game. No one was in a good mood for that one. If you lose to A&M, I'm having my tailgate for Purdue after that, and no one will be in the mood for that. So maybe I just need to tailgate in my driveway at home and not even bother. Unbelievable. 559's up on the line. What's up, baby?
What's up, John? How's it going, boss?
You know how it's going. I'm stressed out.
We all stressed out right now, John. We're all disappointed. We all are going through the motions of Notre Dame football, and I think the biggest problem that we had was that we had high hopes. We had every reason to have high hopes. We had every reason to believe what we were sold was a lie. But let's shoot the shit. Let's keep it 100 right now, man. Because Denbrock and Ash, Chris Ash ain't going to deserve his name Chris Ash until he proves me that he deserves to be called Chris Ash. Until then, he's Chris Ash to me. Denbrock, get your head out of your ass and look at what the hell you're calling, because you got two running backs, the best in the country, run the ball. Then, this shows us as a fan base how special Riley Leonard was last year. There's a reason why we ran Riley as much as we did, because he covered up the mistakes that our offensive line had, the flaws that we had up front. Yes, I don't think our offensive line is any good when it comes down to pass pro. But goddamn, they're a hell of a good team when we run block. So why are we going away from the run? I don't understand that. Denbrock, you get paid a hell of a money, my boy. You have me working all summer long and getting on today's gear and trying to get tickets to go see you. And to see the shit that you're calling, you're going to piss me the hell off. I expect more than that from Denbrock. And Rudolph, bro, you better get your stubborn butt off your head, because you know what? You got a hell of a talent up front to not figure this out. And that is not a tackle. We're going to understand that. Move Matt to par. And let's start finding who our real left tackle is. We're bringing these kids in for the same reason that they're highly recruited and they're not living up to the potential, because you want to play them out of position. Anything else?
I want to ask this. You have this 2-week window now to be able to react to everything that's on film now. Are you encouraged that they're going to look different and change and adjust, or are you worried you're going to get something very similar and we're going to be doubly frustrated?
I believe that we are going to change some things. I think it's not going to happen, though, until we get Jagasol back, at least on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, I really feel that I'm pretty sure Marcus Freeman had a come to Jesus moment with Chris Ash. And so then I'm not really happy with what he's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no reason that we're playing the way we're playing with the talent that we got, bro. This is where, I understand there's going to be an adjustment period. I understand there's going to be an adaptability ability. I understand all that. But there's no reason why, if you're seeing that you can't bring pressure with four man up front, then you got to design your blitzes. You got to design your calls. You got to bring pressure from different angles, And let's stop with his highness. This kid has a good Samaritan heart, and he's another Notre Dame kid. Yeah, I hear that all the time. But let's move him. Let's put him on situational basis only.
Yeah.
He got moved like a chick I stole from a stepchild. You know what I mean? Someone stole his D, he got ran out. Really. There was A-gap was open for at least 8 yards every single time. We need to get the talent that we have. And you know what? Try something new. Why not have teriyaki?
Lewis, Kent Jackson has an important question for you. He wants to know if you're still feeling bougie or not.
Oh, I'm bougie no matter what. Boy, I'm always bougie when I wear Notre Dame gear. What are you talking about, my boy? We California love over here, my boy. We stay bougie. Win or lose, we stay bougie rocking Notre Dame. And if you want some of this bouginess, come and see me and find out. Let them know that.
Man, I love you. It doesn't matter what's going on. You're ready to go, baby. Anything else, my friend? I love the energy, even though we're frustrated.
Yeah. Look, I got my boss out here. I got my out here. They're listening to me going off because I told them it's Friday. I got to make call my boy, always Irish. Let them know how much of a Notre Dame fan I am because I haven't been able to because they have me working the solar panel, screaming like a Mexican out here. But you know what? Every day I talked about Notre Dame football. And we're going to stay talking about Notre Dame football because we have reasons to believe we have an outstanding team, an outstanding coach, an outstanding administration, and the best university in the country. And we are Notre Dame football.
Enjoy your weekend, Lewis. We'll talk to you. Love you, buddy.
You too, guys. You for sure, John. Love you too. Bye.
Beefeater, just make sure you wear your ND thong to the tailgate, John. Could you imagine? You're 0-2, the whole world is falling apart around you, and you roll up at 8:30, 9 in the morning to this tailgate where everybody's already miserable and hates their life and wishes they didn't prepay for the tickets and overpay for this product. And you pull your ass in there. And the first thing you see is me in one of those Borat swimsuit man thong things. Very nice. How much? How much Miller Lights would you like? Very nice. Like, bro, that's not going to help our issues. I hate to tell you. It ain't going to help the issues that we have, okay? Oh, man, this is tough stuff. This is tough stuff. Oh. All right, here's what we're going to do. One more break, and then we'll power into the second half. Andrew Gilmore, I want to hear what he thinks. If you're like me, you've seen inflation eat away at your precious savings and watch the markets go unpredictably wild. This made me look into other ways to gain stable wealth over time. With that in mind, through the Always Irish community, I've been introduced to 7K Metals. 7K is helping everyday people like you and I gain access to real gold and silver, not stocks or paper promises, tangible assets. I've been able to consistently build a portfolio of gold and silver month after month without having to be an expert at all. You can simply sign up and start adding gold and silver to your portfolio every month, which is exactly what I do. I set it up, let it run, and have a little fun. It's about creating stable wealth through gold and silver. I believe in 7K so much, I decided to join as a full member. You get education, wholesale pricing that cannot be beat, easy purchasing and cash outs with the Sound Money wallet. So if you're ready to take control of your financial future, visit my personal website, alwaysirishgold.com, via the link in the description or the QR code on the screen. You trust me, I trust 7K. Why not join today? This is not a membership, it's a movement. Silver and gold, you play like mold. Son of a buck, I'm not in a good mood. Andrew, what's the deal, man? Are we overreacting? Are we underreacting? What's the deal, man?
Yeah. By the way, I'm walking to a business meeting. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I got you. Yep, I got you. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm waffling back and forth because I thought Tim Hyde made a really good point on his Twitter account. He kind of described the game as pretty similar to the Penn State win, and really it was very similar in that Notre Dame did not have a very good offensive game plan in the first half and then rallied back. But I think the difference was Miami just had a better quarterback than Penn State did. Carson Beck deserves credit. He didn't turn the ball over the way Drew Aller did. So in that regard, I feel decent about the loss. But to my point that you put up, earlier in the show, man, it feels like a wasted performance for Carr. Because I mean, I don't know. They're going to play 12 regular season games. Do you really expect 12 really good performances from what I think is essentially a true freshman? I mean,
Andrew,
he's not nowhere close.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, this is another thing that ran through my mind at the park with my daughter last night. I was thinking, you got a pretty solid, okay performance from Carr. First time starting quarterbacks, it's like an up and down journey to the top wherever they're going to end up being. Just because he survived that moment, there is no guarantee that some physical mistakes aren't coming, right? It's not a straight line up for those young quarterbacks. And you got a decent performance from that guy and you didn't support him enough. But I had this thought as well of what if there's just some raw physical mistake, bad decisions coming? You got to be able to support that kid.
I agree. And plus, it's kind of like in baseball when, rookie pitcher comes up and throws a no-hitter. And it's because the hitters don't know what to expect from him. Not a lot of scouting report on him. But once you get enough film, it's then you can start tracking what he does. So I feel more bad about the loss because 3 areas where we thought it was our strength let us down. And I think your last caller hit the nail on the head. Denbrock, the more and more we're getting away from the game, the more and more Denbrock's getting away with his game plan. What is going on with him? Not only was not giving the ball to Jadarian Price and Love criminal, but what's the deal in every big game? We just do not score in the first half. Is it we have to make second half adjustments in order to win the game? I mean, it's becoming a pattern. Number 2, it's Joe Rudolph is getting killed, and we can talk about Joe Rudolph, but where's Mike Minkin's criticism? Wasn't the defensive backfield supposed to be our number 1 position group? And it's just I feel like they totally let us down. Not only did they let...
Andrew.
Yeah.
Dude, in my half of my heart that wanted to be positive in the summer in camp, I was hearing the reports of the quarterbacks are struggling to pass, but it's because that defense is flying all over and there's an arm in every window. There's an arm in every window blocking every pass and there's nowhere to throw. And I'm thinking, okay, I can live with that if that's what we're going to get. And now I don't know what to think. Was I bamboozled?
I agree. I mean, I think other than the but the 2 plays that really are going to stick out in my mind in that game is Emil Wagner trying to block Ruben Bain with his butt, and a Don Schuler acting like that ball in the end zone was he's the left fielder for the Cubs, and it's just a corn, or a can of corn, and he's just waiting for the ball to come to him. It's ridiculous. If Schuler, who's the most overhyped safety in years, if he just makes that play, it's a completely different game. So it's Denbrock. The DBs let us down, not only playing off coverage, but also not tackling well. And then the third thing is Joe Rudolph. It's the offensive line. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But you keep saying it's not an excuse. The hydration, I would contest it is an excuse. It's not a good excuse. I'm not saying.
What do you do with that?
But it is an excuse.
But what do you do with it? So we acknowledge that it's hard for a big guy to stay hydrated in Miami. Okay, I acknowledge that, but I don't feel better that we lost leaning on that.
No, I'm not even suggesting that, but you have a bunch of callers. And I think, by the way, Brian Belly is an excellent caller. I really like this.
Andrew,
you got a bunch of calls.
The most ironic thing ever is no one can stand Crying Belly in the chats on YouTube and Patreon. And then when he calls, it's totally put together, well thought out, and beautifully spoken. It's so weird to me that he has those 2 personalities because he gets muted here and on Patreon all the time. And when he calls, it's really, really good. It's so funny to me.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he's a really thoughtful caller.
Yeah.
But I guess my pushback is in one breath, if you do agree that there was a dehydration heat stroke situation, then at the same time, I think it's a little hard to bring up the fact that this guy's really a guard. He shouldn't be playing tackle. It's like, well, if he was 6'7" and 320 pounds, like a typical tackle, does that make him play any better when he's like heat stroked and dehydrated? I think the real question would be, why was our offensive line so gassed and like Miami's wasn't? You know what I mean? It's not like our offense was on the field the entire game. It really was our defense was on the field the entire game. I think there's like a potential, what are we doing pregame where not only Knapp was gassed, but you saw Wagner at the end. He couldn't even lift his hands up to block Reuben Bain. It's like we've got a potential, stamina issue that needs to get addressed, and that can't get addressed overnight.
Yeah,
so
that's what she
that's
said.
where I'm just coming from.
Yeah, you got. I'm trying, Andrew. It's been a long week. I'm trying to just get through it. So, okay, now let me ask you this.
It's not an excuse, but we're not criticizing that for the right reason.
Right.
Everybody just wants to be right. Everybody just wants to be right on him. Like, hey, I predicted he should have been a guard. He didn't get his ass kicked because he was a guard playing tackle. He got his butt kicked because he was dehydrated and couldn't even play. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter, And so if he comes out dehydrated again, then we're like, what are you doing before the game, Anthony? Now, you can't start for us if you can't give us, a certain amount of snaps.
All right, now let me ask you this. Let's fast forward this. I know the way you think about all this. Have you identified any really basic quick fixes that could help now that you have the data here of what was good enough, not good enough, what you struggle with? Is there any quick fixes on offense or defense that you could think of over these 2 weeks that'll automatically, whatever else happens, put you in a better position to be more productive on both sides of the ball? Is there anything you could think of, or is this all a big Rubik's Cube we can't figure out?
Oh, yeah. I think a quick fix is, and I'm really frustrated by this discussion on RPOs. It's just really frustrating. And the reason why is, and I've been telling you this for 2 years, John, Denbrock is a pass-first offensive coordinator. And one of my biggest fears going into the year was he could not control himself. Like, even though his playmakers are in the backfield, he wants to throw the ball. And I remember Tim Hyde last year, like for the first few games, charted all the play calls with Riley Leonard, who was truly a run-first quarterback. And if you factor in when all the plays where Leonard did a true drop back and then decided to run, it was not a called run. He decided to run. Denbrock called a 50-50 offense last year, which I think you would agree was inappropriate when you have as good a backfield as they have and you have Riley Leonard as a runner. It should have been much more of like a spread option type offense. And so one quick fix is, and I hate to just be like a broken record, is give the ball to the running back. Yeah. Like, I grew up in San Diego. I watched one of the best running backs of all time his entire career, LaDainian Tomlinson. And I promise you, John, 80% of the time, the entire stadium knew the Chargers were going to hand the football to LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yeah.
And the Chargers did not have some Hall of Fame offensive line either. I don't think anybody during LaDainian Tomlin's tenure in San Diego was even close to a Hall of Famer. And yet LaDainian Tomlinson got a bunch of yards. So I think Denbrock outthought himself. I mean, I'm going to come out throwing the football. I'm not going to give it to my best guys, and I'm going to trick Heatherman, the new DC. I think he thought too much. He's way too pass happy. You got to understand your personnel. It's like in basketball. If you're built like a Big Ten basketball team, you don't run a fast break offense. You slow it down a little bit, and you win games 60-50. It's like, Denbrock, you're not built like those Cincinnati football teams when Brian Kelly was the coach. And it's fun and gun. You're built like a Big Ten football team. Give the ball to your running backs. And then on defense, hey, you got to get a pass rush. So we got to start there. Blitz more. Why not play KVA more? Blitz him up the middle. And that should help out the ends get some pressure. I mean, I think those are the quick fixes. And then Luke Talladge should never play. If you're covering the back of the end zone, and leaving Carson Haas out to dry, you should not be playing. He's a ridiculously big drop-off from Xavier Watts. And in Don Schuler, if you're going to be a captain and talk all this smack, make a play, dude. I mean, I think he might be the most overrated player on the team.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Andrew, really good synopsis. So I guess we'll be able to relax a little tomorrow, watch these garbage games, and then Michigan and Oklahoma, and we'll see what happens. The other thing is, Andrew, I feel bad for you. Not only you have this Notre Dame frustration, but you also moved from San Diego weather to Chicago. So God bless you. That is not easy. That is not an easy move. I used to do a lot of the convention center stuff in San Diego at a previous job. And man, I love my trips to San Diego, man. That little downtown area by the baseball state. I love that little strip area and the weather. And now you're stuck in Illinois. So God bless you, Andrew. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Thanks for taking my call, buddy.
Have a good one. You know what I'm laughing at in my head, you guys? When he was talking about the dehydration, when I went to the Halloween store, like my daughter likes going in the Halloween store just to look at everything, and it doesn't get old. So she wants to like go there to her like once a week just to look at everything. They have the outfit for I guess just being a drunk. And they have like the football helmet where you put 2 beers in with the tube that goes in your mouth. And I have this mental image of our O-linemen all wearing those football helmets with the tube, with the water, so that they're out there and they can get the water while they're playing. But that was all I'm thinking about is that helmet with the tube with the spot for the beers. And every O-lineman needs one of those with a water hose, bro. Oh, man, I hate my life right now. Main man Martinez, what's up, baby?
Johnny, can you hear me? Am I clear?
You're clear enough.
Okay, then let me put you on speakers. I got you on my Bluetooth. Sorry, man. Let me. All right, brother. There. Can you got me now?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, Johnny. A few things. I'm just as upset as you are. Upset about upset, just like the rest of the fan base. I watched the same game that you guys all watched. I got pissed off at all the players. You guys all got pissed off. But there was a few callers your show on Wednesday. Real positive, man. Real positive on a few things. I know we all want to be upset. We all got questions. We all do. Andrew just had a really good call, man. But you know what I mean? But you really have to go into this next week, man, knowing that the adjustments that need to be made are going to be made. Trust me, man. We were all right on our high horse. We just got done with the national title run. Yeah, we lost by a touchdown, right? But that wasn't good enough, right? It wasn't good enough. And losing by 3 is not good enough. The last 2 games we've lost, Johnny, though, I'm going to give you positive on that. We lost national title, and we lost to Miami, a top 10 team, okay? That's somewhat a positive if you have to have a positive. And we've lost by a total of 14 points, which is a touchdown per game, which is 2 turnovers that we gave up. So you have to look at those things. We gave up 2 turnovers. You know what I mean? The defense was on the field too damn long. We know that. And Bruce said something really great. How do you replace an Xavier Watt, the best defensive player in the country? Not just but the literally best defensive player in the country 2 years running in a row. You don't. There's only one. So Ash is going to do what he needs to do. If not, Freeman's going to make sure it happens. I know this, Johnny.
Man,
the reason I tell you these things.
I hope so,
because go ahead. I'm sorry.
You got it. This is a really uncomfortable position to be in because now your backs are against the wall, and A&M is an absolute must-win if you want to steady this ship. You got a young quarterback. You're putting yourself in a really, really tough position, and you need to bounce back. And Freeman teams have done a good job bouncing back after frustrating losses, but you just can't keep putting yourself in a position to always need to bounce back.
No, Johnny, I agree. I agree with you. But one thing, too, how many Alabama teams did Nick Saban have that was like, oh, they've lost 2, and then they go and win the national title because, yeah, they played a pity-pat schedule, but they do. They gel it together, and they do. It's going to happen. And you know what? No disrespect, bro, to what I'm about to say, man, to any guys on the chat. I didn't like myself in the chat on Sunday because it brought me out of character. And because I've been sober for 7 months, I don't want to be that dude anymore. So if I said things wrong to anybody, man, I apologize, but I got heated in the moment as well, and I'm not going to do that. But at the end of the day, all of us on here, we're all an AA support group and the disgruntled Notre Dame version of men. We are, because we've been wanting it, and that's okay because we love it, and we want and we have the passion, and we all want to win. I understand that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, this dude is gonna do what he needs to get the wheels in motion to make this gel. He has the pieces in part. That's why he goes after the dudes he goes after. He knows what he has in the backfield. He knows what he has in his DBs. He knows what he has in his coaches. Let's not forget, and everybody, I agree, Donnie Heinrich probably should not have been there. But you know why Donnie Heinrich was in there? I'm going to give everybody a reality check. Because against Georgia, the SEC champs, he dominated their front line.
You know what? You got to give him credit for that. You got to give him credit for that.
Yeah.
Although Georgia had a down offensive line for what Georgia O-line play usually is. However, you could argue he made one of, if not the biggest play in that game with what he did ending the first half, and he does deserve credit for that. You're right. That's fair.
Look, John, have we forgotten that? Have you guys all got that? That's what they tell you in football. Short-term memory loss. You threw an interception, keep going forward. But I guess we got short-term memory loss when it doesn't go our way. I get it. Washington said, hey, you're getting beat off that, Donnie. I got to rotate you. But were we not pencil thin last year? Did everybody forget that too? And did they not make the adjustments? I get it, man. We're all upset. I'll give it to Miami and those kids. They were class. I don't know. They looked like they played better. No attitude, nothing. I don't like Michael Irvin and then I'm this gangster thing because I lived that life, man. And I've been there. And this whole convict shit, man, that's for nobody, man. But anyways, the thing is, Johnny, that we're gonna bounce back from this, man. There's gonna be some positivity coming out of this. I know there is, man.
I like
and one
it.
last thing.
I need this. Yeah, I need this. You're making me feel a little better. I like it.
Hey, man, I'm telling you this, man. And one last thing. Your ass better not cancel that tailgate because my ticket's booked, my game ticket's booked, my Airbnb's booked. I got gifts for you, your baby, and your wife, and some of the guys, man. Actually, something got to Tom's house, but I'll have to figure that out.
Listen, man.
Hey, man.
We're not canceling nothing because you know what, dude? It is fun when we're winning and we're all together, but it's more important when times are tough that we are all together. And I mean that. It's more fun when we're winning and we're all together, but it is more important that we're all together in our misery together, kind of supporting each other when things are tough. So we'll be there either way, man. We're going to be there either way.
Yeah. Amen, Johnny. Like one Italian man once told me when I went to go compete against Oregon with one of my dogs, he goes to me, wait, you're not going to compete anymore? I said, no, why? He goes, if you don't go, I'll personally kick your ass. I said, why? You tell me what 16-year-old girl wants to go on a damn road trip with her dad and his dog to compete. Yeah. If you're not at the tailgate, Johnny, I'll personally kick your ass.
I'm going to be there. We're going to be there
Johnny,
no matter what.
Johnny, I know you will. Hey, Johnny, I love you guys, man. Hey, man, remember, it's a new day. It's not the days of old. And, yeah, we don't like these bounce-back days, man, but eventually they happen, bro. And it's a bump in the road, and we're going to keep this rolling, man. Love you, Johnny. Onward, Notre Dame, buddy. Have a great weekend.
Have a good one. A little positivity there from the main man. Conundrum says, Notre Dame's on the high horse syndrome. I wish I had Mr. Ed out there as a tackle. Bro, have you ever watched Mr. Ed? Like, I know that's from, like, before our time. That is the funniest shit I've ever seen is Mr. Ed, bro. YouTube Mr. Ed Dodgers, where that horse, literally, they put a bat in his mouth, and he plays for the Dodgers, and he swings the bat in his mouth, he rounds the bases, and he slides into home plate. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. YouTube Mr. Ed Baseball, bro. It is the funniest thing I've ever seen. And the other one is Mr. Ed on a skateboard. You think I'm not making it up. YouTube Mr. Ed Baseball and Mr. Ed on skateboard, bro. It's so funny. I swear to God, they put a bat in the horse's mouth and they pitch it and he swings it with his mouth. And then he slides into home plate. The horse, he slides into home plate. The other one is he's trying to like be cool like the kids and he rides and they put him on a skateboard and he goes, woo! I love Mr. Ed, bro. Yeah, lifetime 300 hitter. He's going right into the Hall of Fame. They're going to give him his own stall in the Hall of Fame. Bro, I'm not kidding, dude. If you eat a handful of edibles or something, put on YouTube Mr. Ed, bro. Check it. It'll trip you out. It's wild. Oh, man. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. Here's what I feel good about. Everybody I'm not going to be able to get to today has been on the air within the last week. I tried to get some people that have been a longer time. I feel bad that I can't get everybody in every show, but I'm telling you, at least everybody waiting here has been on the air in the last week. That's about as good as I could do. Somebody brings up Slide Ed Slide. Dude, I'm just telling you, it's hilarious to me. With the Scooby-Doo, that's the other thing. When I could get my daughter to like get into the Scooby-Doo, I put on the old ones, the ones from the 60s, like not the new stuff. And it's just like funny, the old school stuff I like. So if I could get her to watch some of that. All right, you guys. Thanks for being here. Dr. John, what's up? We're making it through this together. We had some laughs. We had some serious talks. We got all the Patreon, the film breakdown, everything you need over there. Promo code Irish if you want to check it out. Tim Ide is doing so much film review. It's sickening. God bless Mike Goolsby. He's on a guys weekend with a bunch of his Notre Dame classmates. They pick a bye week, and I think he's up in the mountains doing something with a group of Notre Dame guys. Good for Mike to be able to get out and have a little fun. We'll be back at it. Thanks for calling. Thanks for donating. Love this show. Love you guys. Be good. Have a good weekend without Notre Dame.